The forest had always intrigued us, a place steeped in local legend and whispers of the supernatural. Scott, known for his unyielding curiosity and thrill-seeking nature, proposed we camp there. His excitement was palpable as he painted a picture of adventure and mystery. I, however, was wary. I'd heard the stories of disappearances, eerie sightings, and unsettling encounters, but Scott's enthusiasm was infectious. Despite my reservations, I couldn't resist the lure of a good adventure, and so, we prepared for what would become a nightmarish experience. On the day of departure, the weather was unusually grim. Dark clouds hung low in the sky, casting a pallid light over the towering trees. The dense canopy created a dim, greenish twilight that seemed to swallow the sun. The air was thick with moisture, and a faint chill ran down my spine. As Scott, Rachel, Tim, and I unloaded our gear, the forest's oppressive silence felt almost tangible. The trees, ancient and gnarled, seemed to whisper among themselves. The forest was beautiful but foreboding, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Our camp was set up in a small clearing, surrounded by towering trees whose twisted branches reached out like gnarled fingers. The clearing itself was unnervingly still, as if the forest was holding its breath. As dusk fell, the forest came alive with sounds: rustling leaves, distant hoots of owls, and the occasional snap of a twig underfoot. The air grew colder, and the shadows deepened, making the forest seem even more alive and mysterious. Scott, determined to lighten the mood, suggested we share ghost stories. His tales of spectral sightings and cursed lands were meant to entertain, but only added to the growing tension. Rachel, trying to contribute, recounted a local legend about a lost village and its haunting spirits. Her voice trembled slightly, and her words seemed to linger in the cool night air. Tim, normally the life of the party, was unusually quiet. His eyes darted nervously around the camp, and his body language betrayed his growing unease. Despite our attempts to stay upbeat, the forest's oppressive atmosphere began to seep into our conversation. As the night deepened, Tim decided to take a walk. "Just need some fresh air," he said, slipping into the darkness before anyone could protest. We called out for him, but the forest seemed to swallow our voices. The minutes turned into hours, and our concern grew as the cold night deepened. Just as we were about to start a more frantic search, Tim's flashlight appeared on the ground near our camp. It was still on, its beam casting eerie shadows on the surrounding trees. My heart raced as Scott and Rachel exchanged worried glances. The flashlight's sudden appearance was a chilling sign, and I felt a shiver of foreboding. The shadows seemed to grow darker, and a sense of unease settled over us like a heavy fog. We ventured into the forest, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. The trees, once familiar, now seemed to twist and contort in the shadows, their shapes becoming grotesque and menacing. The air was damp and cold, and a thick fog began to roll in, obscuring our vision and adding to our sense of isolation. As we wandered deeper into the forest, the silence was occasionally broken by faint, disembodied whispers carried on the wind. The sounds were indistinct but unnervingly close. The forest seemed to shift around us, the paths we had followed now lost among countless identical trees. I caught glimpses of movement in the corner of my eye, shadowy figures darting between the trees, but when I turned to look, there was nothing. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with every step. Our search led us to a small, abandoned cabin hidden among the trees. The cabin was decrepit, its wooden walls weathered and covered in grime. Inside, we found an old journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. The journal belonged to a resident of a village that once existed where the forest now lay. Its entries were haunting accounts of the village's tragic fate, disappearances, madness, and the relentless pursuit of a malevolent spirit. The journal detailed the villagers' desperate attempts to appease the spirit through rituals and sacrifices. The more we read, the more the forest seemed to come alive with a sinister energy. The temperature dropped sharply, and a bone-chilling wind swept through the cabin, extinguishing our lanterns. Shadows danced on the walls, and the air felt thick with dread. The journal's accounts of spectral apparitions and supernatural occurrences seemed to manifest around us, making the cabin feel like a suffocating trap. Determined to find a way out, we decided to follow the journal's instructions for appeasing the spirits. The ritual was complex and unsettling, involving strange symbols and arcane incantations. We gathered materials from the forest: bones, twigs, herbs, and began the ritual in the clearing where we had found the symbols. As we chanted the ancient words, the forest responded with growing hostility. The ground beneath us trembled, and the trees groaned as if protesting our intrusion. The temperature plummeted further, and our breath formed thick clouds in the icy air. The shadows at the edges of the clearing seemed to shift and writhe, and the whispers we had heard earlier grew louder, more insistent. The forest felt alive with a malevolent presence, and every gust of wind seemed to carry the weight of ancient, restless spirits. Midway through the ritual, the air grew thick with a palpable sense of dread. A ghostly figure emerged from the darkness, a woman in old-fashioned clothing, her face ashen and eyes hollow. Her presence was both haunting and otherworldly, and her voice, though soft, carried a chilling resonance. She spoke of her tragic fate, and that of her village, her sorrowful tale revealing the forest's dark history. The ghost revealed that her village had been destroyed by supernatural forces, and the spirits of those who perished were trapped in the forest, endlessly reliving their final moments. She explained that the spirits were restless and vengeful, driven by their torment and anger. To appease them, we needed to offer a gesture of genuine contrition and respect. Our ritual had awakened her spirit, and she implored us to complete the process to set the souls free. Her presence was overwhelming, and the oppressive atmosphere made it clear that the spirits were watching our every move. Following the ghost's instructions, we each chose a personal item to leave at the base of an ancient tree, something that held deep meaning for us. The act was intended to symbolize our respect for the spirits and our acknowledgement of their suffering. As we placed our offerings, the forest seemed to hold its breath. The silence was broken only by the rustling of leaves and the distant howling of the wind. The oppressive darkness that had surrounded us began to recede, replaced by a faint, eerie glow. The path we had once been lost on started to clear, the trees parting to reveal a way back. The forest's malevolent presence seemed to ease, and the air felt lighter, though the unsettling feeling of being watched lingered. With the path now visible, we followed the faint glow, our hearts pounding with a mix of hope and trepidation. The forest, though still dark and dense, no longer felt as threatening. The oppressive weight that it had hung over us seemed to lift, replaced by a cautious optimism. As we emerged from the trees into the daylight, we were both relieved and profoundly shaken. The experience had left us physically and emotionally drained, and the memory of the forest's haunting presence lingered. Tim was never found. Despite our best efforts, there was no trace of him. His disappearance became a somber reminder of the forest's dangers, and his absence was a constant ache in our hearts. We had hoped to find him, to bring him back to safety, but the forest had claimed him, leaving us with unanswered questions and a deep sense of loss. Back in the safety of our homes, the experience haunted us. The forest was closed off to outsiders, and local authorities took measures to protect others from the same fate. The journal in our story became part of local legend, a chilling tale of caution and supernatural terror. The forest, once a place of adventure and excitement, had revealed its darker side. Our encounter with the supernatural had left an indelible mark on our lives. The boundary between our world and the unknown had been crossed, and we had returned with a deeper understanding of the mysteries that lie beyond. In the end, our adventure had turned into a haunting journey that tested our courage and resolve. The forest had shown us a glimpse of a world beyond our comprehension, a world that was both beautiful and terrifying. Our experience served as a reminder of the delicate balance between curiosity and respect for the unknown, and the consequences of disturbing the secrets that lie hidden in the darkness. Our story became a local legend, a cautionary tale of the forest's restless spirits and the price of curiosity. The forest, with its ancient secrets and supernatural presence, remained a place of both wonder and dread. Our experience had transformed us, leaving us with a newfound respect for the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil of our understanding. If you want to see more horror stories, please like the video, share your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Stay with us, thank you, and see you in the next videos.